Fake HOA cops invaded my ranch. Then my deputies surrounded them and laughed. The only thing worse than someone abusing power is when they pretend they have it in the first place. My name is Sheriff Clint Dawson, 49 years old. Been in law enforcement nearly 3 decades. I run a working ranch in Bristlewood County, South pasture cattle, and a retired K-9 named Brutus who still thinks he's on duty. After years on the force, I chose to live somewhere quiet, somewhere honest. So when I heard that Karen Rowland had moved into the new high-end development across the county road, I wasn't worried. That was before she decided to invent her own law. It started with letters nicely worded, but full of nonsense. Your barn is visible from the development's walking trail. Please refrain from hosting livestock events without community approval. You are not exempt from HOA perimeter codes just because you run cattle. I chuckled, tossed the notes in the burn barrel, and went on with my day. But Karen doesn't take being ignored lightly. The next escalation came in the form of HOA Enforcement Patrol. 2 guys in surplus gear, black vests that said code unit on the back, and clipboards like they were ready to issue speeding tickets to a tractor. They pulled up one morning like they were serving a warrant. You're in violation of multiple HOA standards, one of them announced while standing at my front gate. Which HOA? I asked, arms crossed. Ridgefield Estates, he said confidently. I tipped my hat up. I don't live in Ridgefield Estates. Well, your property is within visibility range of residents. That makes you subject to aesthetic review. I laughed. He didn't. Instead, he reached toward the latch. That's when Brutus let out a bark so loud the guy jumped 3 feet back. Back away from my gate, I said, that's trespassing. They left grumbling, muttering about non-compliance penalties. I figured that was the end. I was wrong. A week later, they came back, this time with Karen riding shotgun in a white Escalade with magnetic decals that read HOA Public Safety Unit. They marched up the driveway, walked through the outer gate, and started photographing the feed shed, tagging the fence with little orange violation stickers. That was when they crossed the line. Because what Karen didn't know, what none of them knew, was that 5 of my deputies were helping me set up the new perimeter fence that day. All off duty, all licensed, all armed. One of them, Deputy Morales, spotted them first. Boss, we've got unauthorized entry on the east side, he said calmly into the walkie clipped to his shirt. I didn't even look up from my tool belt. Surround them, don't say a word until I get there. When I came around the corner 5 minutes later, I nearly dropped my coffee laughing. Karen and her 2 wannabe cops were standing dead in the center of my lot, surrounded by a half circle of 4 deputies, 1 on an ATV, 2 on horseback, and another just leaning against the barn with a toothpick in his mouth, grinning ear to ear. The HOA patrol looked like they'd wandered into a spaghetti western. They weren't cast for. I walked up slow. Well, I said, looks like you folks found yourselves in a mighty awkward situation. Karen's mouth twitched. This is private HOA business. I raised my badge. No, this is sheriff's business. And you just trespassed on a law enforcement officer's private ranch? You can't possibly be the sheriff, one of the patrol guys muttered. You just walked past 4 deputy vehicles to get here. I said, use your eyes. He turned red. Deputy Morales stepped forward, holding up one of their clipboards. They've got printed forms, sheriff fake code, citations, no legal headers. I nodded. Seize everything, Karen started shouting. You can't do this. I'm acting on behalf of Ridgefield. No, ma'am, I interrupted. You're impersonating an officer trespassing and attempting to issue unlawful citations on land you have no jurisdiction over, but this affects property values. I raised a hand. The only value you're affecting now is your reputation. They were escorted off the property, Karen in tears, her fake officers dead silent. I didn't press charges yet, but I did report the incident to the county attorney. The next day, the story broke. Fake HOA patrol confronts. County sheriff gets schooled in real authority. Neighbors laughed, deputies laughed. Even the mayor laughed. Karen tried to defend herself on a neighborhood live stream. Claimed she was trying to keep the community safe. The comments section ripped her apart. Within a month, the Ridgefield Estates HOA issued a statement declaring Karen not authorized to represent or enforce any policies. She was removed from the board and banned from future service. She put her house on the market the next week. I never saw her again. Now I keep one of their fake violation stickers on my fridge as a trophy. And sometimes when Brutus and I sit on the porch, I lean over and say, we didn't even have to chase them, boy. They tripped over their own power. Because when fake law meets the real thing, justice doesn't bark, it grins. Thus in thus, the end.